First time the old Sadie's has been in the shop. Looks good in here. Hopefully we don't see it in here too often. Well, I've been just itching to drive this old girl for the last couple of weeks. So we gotta hurry up and get this friggin' old rad fixed so I can experience her first drive. Of course, we're popping off upper and lower rad hoses. It looks like that must be the return for the heater core or something. Yeah, that's what it is. Here's a little extra cooler. We got transmission cooler lines at the very bottom. It looks like they just unscrew off of the rad there. You can see a little bit of a nut. And then we should be good to pull her right out. I guess we gotta pop this fan shroud off. Yeah, let's get to it. Alright, well, I took out a screw here, screw right here, and this thing seems like it should just slide right out from the bottom. Yep. Although I didn't anticipate it not actually making it around the fan there. Well, that's a bummer. I guess it'll just have to stay there. I'm gonna have to undo all that stuff from the bottom. Heater core return hose. Clamp wasn't even tight. It just fell down as soon as I started messing with it and the hose just pulled right off. The upper rad hose was nice and tight. I guess I'm gonna have to jack it up. Aw. Well, here's what's left of the lower rad hose clamp. We got everything under here nice and disconnected. The transmission cooler line on this side and this oil cooler line here. First, I thought I was going to be able to pull the rad up independently of this oil cooler, but as you can see, it's got bolts that go all the way through, holding it onto the radiator. And I mean, we could get this bottom one out, but we'd never be able to get the top one out without removing this condenser. So screw it, I decided taking the lines off the oil cooler would be easier. I'm not gonna lie to you though, at first I thought this was like a power steering cooler or something, but once I got that crack loose and I saw and smelt that oil, I realized it's engine oil. Oh yeah, no problem. Ready to pull out. Sometimes things just go smoothly. We've got this goofy little holder here for the rad or whatever to hold it in. This hook was actually grabbing onto up here. You can see where the dirt's scratched away. And it just kind of loops down and connects down there. So if we, with that upper part released and pull back, this side, I don't, oh yeah, it's, oh, that's how it's supposed to work. I don't think it was actually supposed to be hooked up here, but by the looks of this one here, you see how it's like pushed right up against the rad? If I kind of like lift and pull back here, it's kind of hard to do with the battery in place. There we go. See, that thing just stays put right in there, and it'll pull up out of the way so you can pull the rad out. Then when you want to secure the rad back in, you just push it back into place, and now the rad can't come out. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to bend all the way up to here. Oh. There. Well, here's our problem spot. We for sure have this coolant passage tube deal breached right here, big time. And the second one, questionable. Might still be holding, but oh yeah, look at that, eh? I just noticed that now. This whole area is like inside of this coolant passage tube. Yeah, because these are supposed to be just thin tubes between these cooling fins. Something just perfectly hit right on this tube, just gaped her wide open. Doesn't really matter because I'm probably just going to chop these tubes right off, right above and below the affected area, both this tube and this tube, and then just pinch them together and solder them shut. So you're effectively going to lose coolant flow through two of those tubes, but that'll be fine. Not too confident in that repair. That took like an hour. Holy shit. Whew. Well, it's a couple days later. I had to deflate my chest a little bit there. Was a little overconfident. Thought I could just get this the frig done. Well, turns out I couldn't. As you can see, I don't think I even showed my final result. I might have. Anyways, I had the wrong everything. I had the wrong paste, the wrong solder, the wrong torch. As you can see, I was trying to use that torch over there with the big fat top on it. So instead of just heating the area up I needed, I was heating up the whole works here. It actually even, at some point, my tube loosened out of the tank, which was not good. So yeah, yesterday when I went to work, I ran to the co-op, grabbed myself some lead solder. Couldn't find acid flux, but I found some of my Papa Stan's old stash. Man, this stuff's old. And also bought myself a new pencil tip torch. And by golly, it sure ain't pretty. I don't know if I'm proud of it, but I think I got her done. You can see those top tubes there. It's you know, it's sucked inside, but she's sure gloopy and ugly on the sides. And then down here, I was trying to make it just pretty and put a bead around each tube where it goes down into the tank, and then run a bead just on the top where it needs to be. But I ended up just getting this big old volcano eruption of solder here. But hey, she sealed up. Might have used a little more solder than I needed to, but I think she got done, except I just noticed there's a little blip right there. I might have to fire the solder back up and touch that up just a little bit, but I was just gonna slap it back in the car, just maximum faith. But screw that. I don't want to have to unhook and do all that crap again, so hook up the water hose to it and see if it'll hold pressure. Put you guys on your stand here so you can at least watch that. Didn't bother recording this process here. I was kind of lost a little bit of confidence yesterday in my ability to solder this radiator. So I figured today I'd just do it myself, just no pressure, no eyes watching my work. Show you the final result. There we go, all touched up. Now it looks even prettier. Well, I went ahead and gave the rad a good flush since we're here. Let's see if this repair holds. Oh, she's holding. Oh yeah, we're getting good pressure. Holy crap. Oh, she worked. I don't remember if I pointed this out already, but this side was missing its rubber sleeve thing. Like on this side, you can see how there's this rubber part that kind of acts as a damper and what helps hold the rad in place. This side it's gone, and without that thing there, there's just not really much to hold the rad in. It stays in there though. Those bumps do kind of sit in the tracks loosely, and it's at least not gonna allow the fan to hit the rad, but it's so janky. And we can kind of see it here. That's all that holds the rad in, right there. Like any other vehicle I've had, you know, you got like a rad cradle where the whole bottom of the rad sits on a cradle, but this one, it just has these little things on each side which looks like they've already been welded up and repaired. I'll have to look into getting new rubber pieces that go on both sides and maybe kind of like glue them onto the rad a little bit so they're not impossible to get in there. It was tough to get that rubber piece to stay in place while I was sliding the rad down. Anyways, we got all the upper connections good to go here. I'm going to crawl underneath and hook up everything there, and we should be good to fill her up. All right. She's all hooked back up. These two guys got new hose clamps. The actual hoses themselves are actually in pretty good shape, which is kind of a surprise, but oh, it's time. It's time to put coolant in there. Oh yeah, and this was the reason why that, I thought it was a heater core return hose, but no, it's the hose that comes out of the bottom of this overflow / coolant reservoir, and that's what maintains the level in the rad when you put coolant in that thing. The hose that runs from the bottom of this tank to this radiator, this was the clamp for it. So yeah, even if I didn't have a leak down there, that little hose would have blew off in about 10 minutes and would have a major coolant leak anyways. So first things first, I need to mix up some diesel coolant. Well, look at that. No drips. Awesome. Since I'm so unfamiliar with this engine, I should make sure that there isn't some sort of a bleed screw somewhere that I'm supposed to open on this engine. I'm not feeling anything for coolant up in the upper rad hose here. It does feel cold here, so I think coolant has made it to the upper tank to some degree, but I don't know. Well, something happened here because I went inside for a good 20 minutes to look at some bleeding procedures. When I come back, all of a sudden my reservoir is empty. We don't seem to have any new coolant puddles. I'm thinking something just let go, or an air bubble kind of finally squeaked out. I don't know. As for bleeding procedures, I don't think, from what research I've done, these engines have a bleeder screw. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, please. I'm sure I don't even have to ask. People are usually quite generous with their knowledge on YouTube. But anyways, some people that were having some issues with bleeding these engines would like fill the upper rad hose and put it back on, and that would help or something, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put some more coolant in that overflow bottle, or expansion tank as the pros like to call it. Alrighty. How quaint. Give her a little beans. I need to check the ATF real quick to make sure it's not low after unhooking the cooler. Well, we got nothing showing up on the dipstick, so. Well, the temp's starting to come up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off and figure out what kind of transmission fluid this thing uses. I'm sure it's not just Dexron, which is all I got sitting in the shop. She might just have to get that for now, though. Huh, what do you know? According to the 5 minutes of research I did, Dexron Mercon is totally fine to put in these things. Would have never guessed that. Oops. Whew, those are some dirty old windows. Horn works. Before we go for a drive, I'm gonna have to wash off that engine bay so we don't have a leaf and oil fire. First time actually really driving her though. Does the speedometer work? Oh, that's undetermined. It starts at 20k, so... Oh man, this thing vibrates hardcore, especially when you put it in reverse. Temp's creeping up a little bit. Ooh, she shuts off nice and beast-like. Oh, I forgot the tripod. There we go, that's a little better. She won't catch on fire now. Believe it or not, I found this whole mess of cord buried under all the leaves there. I could just see a little bit of that gray cord sticking out, and I thought, oh well, we got some sort of short little cord here, but nope. It was a whole extension cord. You can see they just got her done. I'm sure it was well over its amperage limit. Actually, it seems to be in surprisingly good shape though. Doesn't look overheated. Maybe a block heater and whatever other type of heater they got running off of that doesn't pull very much power. I don't know. I'll just shove her all back in there for now. That's how much leaves there was. You couldn't see that. Coolant seems to be right full. I didn't wash off the body or anything, just the engine. Ooh, we got second. Oh, the tach's working again. I gotta see if the speedometer works here. Holy crap, this is right to the floor. Not very much power. Oh, the speedo works. That's cool. Oh, it's so hard to steer. That'll be step number 2, is fix the power steering pump. Oh, shifts up the second like a beaut. Brakes work really well, man. You barely even have to press them and you're just skidding. They are sticky though. I'm gonna have to exercise those calipers or something, see if we can get them back to life. Oh, the tach quit working now. Oh, she's getting a lot more power now. Now we're actually able to clean out those injectors. Oh, she sounds a lot better now. Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot, I gotta turn the heat up to make sure it bleeds air out of the heater core. Whew, that's vibrating. Turn that up. Defrost. Holy smokers, the fan works. How do we turn the fan down? Is that like not an option? Yeah, I don't even know. Well, we got no heat. She must have some air in her. This must have an automatic fan or something. Oh, I think we lost a belt. That's not good. I guess we'll rip her up to the shop quick. All our warning lights are on. Boy, she's gutless when you first punch it, but once that turbo spools up, she just gives her. Let's pull her right here. Oh. This is a very tough car to drive one-handed right now. We still have our belt. Maybe we just got something wet. Because I did wash the crap out of her. Maybe the alternator went bad, I don't know. It's kind of weird that all the warning lights came on. Obviously, that's our charge light. That's our little brake fluid or emergency brake light. This light, I don't know what it's for. The glow plug light don't seem to want to work. It was working when I first started it. She's starting good. Ooh, that turbo sounds sick deadly. Oh, this is annoying. Yeah, she's starting to sound a lot better now. I haven't even put Marvel Mystery Oil in the fuel tank yet. This is just the diesel cleaning everything out. Oh, look at that! She passes the dancing cap test. Wow! I think that's a pretty healthy old engine. Yeah, that all looks healthy to me. Oh, she's friggin' mint. What a good old car. Well, here's what's left of the bottom rad hose. Well, here's what's left of the lower rad hose. And this well, I went ahead and gave the rad a good flush. The camera is not focusing. Why does it do this sometimes? Come on! Huh. Okay, we get to listen to the world's calmest buzzer. I forgot the battery up.